Welcome to part 3 of section 2. What is defensive driving? It is driving to defend yourself against possible collisions caused by bad drivers, drunk drivers, poor weather, and heavy traffic. As a driver, it is your job to consistently adjust to the ever-changing driving conditions. You drive defensively when you look ahead, put space between you and the vehicle ahead, keep your eyes moving, leave yourself an out, make sure other drivers see you.
If you look ahead and keep your eyes moving, you will spot a hazard more easily. Once you have seen the hazard and decided what to do, act. Never wait and see. Never think that everything will be all right. Children playing in the street may not see you. The boy on the bike may ride in front of you. The man opening a car door in your lane may not see you. If you have a collision, you may not be legally at fault. However, you may be morally at fault if you could have prevented the collision but didn't. Remember, you can prevent most collisions if you drive defensively. You should think about every close shave or collision you have. Decide what went wrong and who made the mistake. Could you have avoided the collision or near collision? What did you do wrong? By asking yourself these questions, you can see if you need to change your driving habits. Such change might help you avoid a serious collision later on. Defensive driving begins before you start the vehicle. Always adjust your seat, mirrors, and safety belt before you start your car. You may have a collision if you try to adjust them while driving. Before you fasten your seatbelt, adjust your seat so that you are high enough to see the road. If you're still too low, you should use a seat cushion. Adjust your rear and side mirrors before you start driving.
Avoid assumptions. Never assume that you know what another driver is going to do. Always expect the unexpected. Imagine that you want to make a turn and you see an oncoming car. Just because a driver's turn signal is on does not mean he is going to turn. Always drive as if the other driver cannot see you.
Let's talk about keeping a buffer zone. Keep plenty of distance between you and the driver ahead, a buffer zone. In fact, always do your best to keep a buffer zone all around your vehicle, front, back, and sides. It is best to keep at least a 3-second gap between you and all other vehicles.
Keeping distance between you and other vehicles, a buffer zone, can protect you from many accidents. Vehicles generate tremendous energy at high traffic speeds. When you have to react to an emergency, it is not easy to reverse that energy. What you need is time. Following at an appropriate distance between you and the vehicle in front of you provides a buffer zone that will help to give you that time.
Although the 3-second rule is normally a safe following distance, some road variables often require the driver to increase following distance to a 4-second gap or more. To achieve a 4-second gap, do the following. When the vehicle ahead of you passes a certain point, such as a sign, count 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004. This takes about 4 seconds. If you pass the same point before you finish counting, you are following too closely. Here are some examples of when to allow a 4-second gap or more. 1. Being crowded by a tailgater. Allow extra room ahead. Do not brake suddenly. Slow down gradually or merge into another lane to prevent being hit from behind by the tailgater. 2. Driving on slippery roads. 3. Following motorcyclists on wet or icy roads. On metal surfaces, example, bridge gratings, railroad tracks, etc., and on gravel. Motorcyclists can fall more easily on these surfaces. 4. The driver behind you wants to pass. Allow room in front of your vehicle so the driver will have space to move in front of you. 5. Towing a trailer or carrying a heavy load. The extra weight makes it harder to stop. 6. Following large vehicles that block your view ahead. The extra space allows you to see around the vehicle. 7. You see a bus, school bus, or placarded vehicle at railroad crossings. These vehicles must stop at railroad crossings, so slow down early and allow plenty of room. 8. Merging onto a freeway.
One of the most important situations when you should increase your gap is when you are being tailgated. When a tailgater crowds you, allow extra room between your car and the car ahead. That way, if you need to slow down, you can do so gradually. You do not want to have to brake suddenly when you are too close to the car in front. The result could be that your car would get smashed in the rear by the tailgater. To avoid being rear-ended, keep your brake pedal depressed when stopping.
Defensive driving techniques. Be alert and don't assume that you know what other drivers will do. It's important to keep your eyes moving. Don't become fixated on one single object. Something else could be threatening danger, a danger you cannot see. Focusing on the car in front of you, a pedestrian walking by, or even a traffic signal are all fixations that can kill.
Let's talk about escape techniques. When you least expect a collision to happen is when it usually will. To avoid possible danger, always look for a way out. Predetermine what you will do if a car in front of you slams on their brakes. Make sure you always have room to maneuver and give yourself a place to escape. Stay alert to potential problems and keep in mind where you are in traffic and what it would take to slow down, turn, or even stop. It's time to talk about defensive driving. Emphasis is on avoidance and prevention of collisions by being alert to possible problems, scanning traffic patterns for problems, road and weather conditions, visibility, day versus night, speed reducing, peripheral vision, fog, etc. Danger areas, example, intersections, speed and stopping distance, reaction times, etc. Vehicle condition and maintenance, tires, brakes, fluid levels, lights, etc.
Driver distractions. There are many factors that can distract a driver on a road. Identifying distractions and not allowing them to affect a driver are vital to accident prevention. A driver should always be aware of road hazards and road conditions. There are numerous locations in particular that you should watch for trouble. Here are just a couple. School zones, construction zones, animal crossings, pedestrian crossings, intersections. At times, you will need to look away from the road ahead. Pick a safe time to look away and then return as soon as possible. Distractions must be kept at a minimum with the driver focused at all times. Road conditions. Soft shoulders. If the edge of the road, known as the shoulder, has loose dirt or other soft material, it is known as a soft shoulder and is potentially dangerous. The surface may appear firm, but in reality, it can cause the vehicle to swerve out of control as the tires sink into the roadway. Be alert and use caution when traveling. Drop-offs. Drop-offs can occur when water, wind, or construction erodes the shoulder areas. If your wheels leave the pavement and hit either a soft shoulder or a drop-off, do not apply your brakes. Slow down by taking your foot off the accelerator and steer straight ahead. When the vehicle has slowed significantly, return to the pavement by turning sharply to the left when it is safe to do so. Irregular pavement. Sometimes pavement isn't in pristine condition and special attention is needed. Be aware of loose gravel, potholes, narrow roads, and dips. All of these make driving conditions more difficult to navigate. Treat irregular pavement like you would snow or ice, because it is just as dangerous.
Let's discuss how to recover steering control and returning to the road when your car is straddling uneven pavement surfaces. A common roadway work zone feature and a potential hazard is uneven pavement surfaces, adjacent areas that are higher or lower than each other. The unevenness is due to milling or paving operations. You'll also see uneven surfaces where a pavement edge drops off to a lower shoulder. Note, milling means grinding down to the pavement to prepare the road to be repaved. Paving involves placing new layers of asphalt or concrete. Because these operations are done one lane at a time, the overall surface ends up uneven. Unevenness of a couple of inches or more could cause you to lose control of your car and stray into a neighboring lane or leave the road entirely. At the very least, driving over uneven surfaces can startle you and make it hard to steer, especially when your right tires and left tires end up on different levels. Since you immediately want to get your car back under control and drive it straight and steady, You may overreact by turning the steering wheel too sharply. Or you may panic because you don't know how to steer your wheels over the pavement edge, or if it's even okay to try. Will your tires get hung up on the pavement edge? Let's say you're driving in the lane next to a lower shoulder, and your right side wheels stray over the edge, drop off, and onto the shoulder. What should you do? Well, don't do the following. Don't slow way down, and certainly don't stop. Don't turn the steering wheel hard to the left to force your right wheels back onto the pavement. Don't move your left wheels onto the shoulder and then quickly turn back onto the road. Instead, do this. Hold the steering wheel firmly and ease off the accelerator. With your car straddling the pavement edge, turn your steering wheel up to 1/4 turn to the left until the front tire contacts the pavement edge. Then turn the steering wheel to go straight down the road. If the level of the shoulder is only slightly below the pavement, recovery is pretty easy. Both right tires should climb over the edge with no problem. Recovery is harder if the shoulder is several inches below the pavement level. Try to follow the same procedure above, but if the right front tire scrubs against the pavement edge, don't steer more sharply to the left. If you do, your car may jump back onto the road and cross over into the path of another vehicle. Instead, ease off the accelerator. Straighten out your steering, straddle the pavement edge once more, and try again.
Let's talk about planning trips. Whether you have long-standing travel plans or a last-minute road trip in mind, give some thought to your travel to ensure everyone arrives safely and can enjoy the trip. A little advanced planning and preparation can keep you, your family, and our roads safe.
Plan your trip. Plan, map, and estimate the duration of your driving ahead of time and let others know your plans. There are websites that offer a calculator which allows you to estimate the cost of gas for your trip. Expect to encounter road work, delays and detours, slow for the cone zone, check road conditions including possible road closures. Plan for heavy congestion collisions. Will chains be required for your tires if driving in snow? Be sure to allow yourself extra time to handle any unplanned situations that may arrive. Prepare your vehicle. Check the tires, including the spare. Proper inflation and good tread can save money, time, and lives. Inspect the engine, battery, hoses, belts, and fluids for wear and proper levels. Check the AC. Do a once around, test all the lights, wipers, and clean the windows inside and out. If you're not sure of what to do, consider a quick inspection by a qualified technician. A few dollars up front can mean peace of mind and safe arrivals, as well as no costly on-the-road repairs and trip interruptions. Prepare an emergency roadside kit, including jumper cables, a flashlight, and plenty of bottled water. Packing roadside emergency kit. As the seasons change, we ought to be sure our car is prepared for them. Depending on your circumstances and location, your level of preparation may vary. You may need snow tires, new windshield wipers and fluid, antifreeze, heater air conditioner service, recommended schedule tune-ups, etc. For everyone, it should mean preparing your car for whatever could happen. When preparing your car, it is wise to remember to make preparations also for your family. An emergency car kit is crucial for breakdowns and unusual weather conditions. It is always good to keep essential supplies in your car in case you get stranded for a few hours or even a few days. What should I keep in my auto emergency kit? First, you want to make sure you have the basic essentials such as water, food, and warmth. After these basics are included, then you can add other necessities such as an emergency light, first aid items, tools, and other accessories. Water. Drinkable water is of utmost importance. Most people can actually survive days without food, but your body will dehydrate without water, leading to organ failure and death. We take the abundance of water for granted when things are normal, but in an emergency it becomes critical. Water is also useful for washing wounds and for sanitation. Water can also be helpful if your car overheats. Because of the limited space in automobiles, storing water must be in small packages. Water is available in small drink boxes, 8.45 ounces, in pouches, 4.2 ounces, or a deluxe sanitation and water kit. Food. If your car breaks down and you are many miles from any town or store, you will want to have food stored in your kit to make sure your body has enough energy. It is very difficult to keep food in your car because it is exposed to extreme temperatures, both hot and cold, and the food is likely to spoil. The best thing to store in your car is high-calorie food bars. These bars come in packages of 2,400 calories and 3,600 calories. They can be exposed to extreme temperatures. They have a tasty flavor that won't leave you thirsty. The bar helps activate the salivary gland and reduce your demand on emergency water supplies. They also expand in your stomach so you feel full. Be careful that you don't overconsume them because they are so high in calories. Warmth. You may have plenty of food and water, but if you're cold, you'll feel miserable. Especially in the winter, warmth is a must for an emergency car kit. If you get stranded on a desolate road or stuck in a snowstorm, you'll be glad you have a source of warmth in your car. There are several options: 6 to 20-hour warm packs, wool blankets, extra clothes, emergency bags, and emergency blankets. Also, for shelter from the rain, include a poncho or other rain gear. Warm packs are nice for quick, concentrated heat. You can put them in your pockets, shoes, and gloves to stay warm. Wool is one of nature's warmest fibers. It provides warmth even when it's wet. It is best to get a wool blend blanket because when synthetic fibers are added to it, they provide softness, durability, and are washable. Emergency blankets and bags are lightweight and fold to pocket size. They're made of reflective material, which reflects up to 80% of your radiant body heat to help you keep warm. A poncho is nice if you are in rain or other bad weather and need to go outside to change a tire or do other work on the car. Light. It's important to always keep a flashlight in your emergency car kit. It comes in handy for all types of circumstances. Be sure to keep charged batteries in the flashlight so you aren't left in the dark. The innovative LED lights have a much higher battery life than a conventional flashlight and are essential for emergency car kits. Other lights that could be useful in your auto emergency kit are light sticks, emergency candles with a wide base, and waterproof matches. Light sticks last for 12 hours and are safe for children. They are visible up to 1 mile away, and they are non-toxic and non-flammable. Emergency candles or liquid paraffin candles are long-lasting, reusable, odorless, and smokeless. A wide base adds stability, which helps prevent accidental spills, which is especially nice for the car. Also, be sure to keep waterproof matches in your emergency car kit so you can light it.
First aid items. If injury occurs, every second counts because help may be hours or days away. A first aid kit allows you to assist with injuries until help arrives. Keep items such as pain relievers, sterile pads, alcohol prep pads, bandages, soap, gauze pads, and micro-pore tape. You may also want to include tissues, toilet paper, safety pins, and ACE bandages. All of these items will come in handy when you are in need of first aid on the road.
Tools. Consider tools such as multi-purpose knife or a collapsible shovel for your car. A shovel may come in handy if you are to get stuck in the snow or mud. A multi-purpose knife provides many different tools for you to work in a time of need. A samurai survival tool provides an axe, hammer, and pry tool all in one. A basic toolkit and a roll of duct tape are also good items to keep in your car. Other accessories. Road flares may also be useful in your auto emergency kit, but they should only be used for a warning signal and should never be used for a light. Once a road flare has been lit, make sure you set it on a non-flammable surface. The byproduct from its fire drips to the ground and may cause a fire if it lands on a flammable material such as grass, or if there is a gas leak. Be careful because the fumes are extremely nauseous and must be used only in a well-ventilated area.
There are several kinds of pre-packaged emergency car kits available on the market, or you can customize your own. If you are purchasing a pre-packed kit, remember that you may need to customize your kit according to your needs, medications, glasses, etc. Keep your kit in a compact case so it fits easily in your trunk or under a seat. Here are some other things to consider keeping in your car in case of an emergency. Spare tire, properly inflated. Check every 6 months. Car jack and lug wrench. Fits your car and you know how to work it. Pre-program your cell phone with a number for roadside service. 12-foot jumper cables. 4 15-minute roadside flares. Emergency red reflector triangle. Tire pressure gauge. rags, roll of duct tape, a help sign, at least 8 inches, extra vehicle fuses, small toolkit, heavy-duty nylon bag to keep the small items together, nylon rope, at least 12 feet, plastic tarp, navigation aid, nice-to-have extras, tire inflator, such as Fix-A-Flat, a quart of motor oil, antifreeze, spray bottle with washer fluid, ice scraper, paper towels, pen and paper, bungee cord, 12 inches, cable ties, work gloves, small fire extinguisher, ABC rated. Remember that long trips can be particularly tough on your kids, especially in the heat. Pack plenty of snacks and cold drinks for the road. Consider freezing juice boxes or water bottles overnight. Use books, toys, DVDs, and video games to keep children occupied and the driver focused. Keep children 12 and under in the back seat. It's the safest place. Stopping along the drive gives everyone a chance to stretch and makes the trip easier. If you have a fussy baby, do not take them out of their car seat while driving to soothe or provide a bottle. If your child needs that level of attention, pull over in a safe place, such as a rest stop. Focus on the road. Don't text or talk on your cell phone while driving, even hands-free. If you need to make a call, check road or weather conditions, or respond to a text, wait until you stop in a safe place, such as a rest stop or parking lot. Don't program your mobile GPS while you are driving. Either have a passenger do it or stop in a safe place. Share the driving with other passengers to avoid fatigue. Rest. Driving while drowsy can be fatal. Even a 30-minute nap can help. Schedule your trip to allow for frequent breaks. Take time to pull over at rest stops to stretch your legs and focus your head. Stop for food or beverages. Avoid eating while driving. Don't fall into the trap of driving while angry. Aggressive driving kills.
Scanning for hazards. Know what is ahead of you. Scanning your surroundings, keeping your eyes moving, includes keeping a safe distance around your vehicle. When another vehicle makes a mistake, you need to react. Give yourself this time by keeping a space cushion on all sides of your vehicle. This space cushion will give you room to brake or maneuver if you need the space.
To avoid last-minute moves, look down the road 10 to 15 seconds ahead of your vehicle so you can see hazards clearly. Constantly staring at the road just in front of your vehicle is dangerous. As you scan ahead, be alert for vehicles around you. Watch for parked vehicles that are moving into traffic. Use your mirrors. Allow enough space between you and the vehicle ahead to give yourself an out. Mistakes cause collisions. In the city, 10 to 15 seconds is about 1 block. On the highway, 10 to 15 seconds is about 1/4 of a mile. Take in the whole scene. If you only look at the middle of the road, you will miss what is happening on the side of the road and behind you. Scanning helps you to see cars and people that may be in the road by the time you reach them, signs warning of problems ahead, signs giving you directions. Before changing lanes, look into your rearview mirror for nearby vehicles and also over your shoulder to check for blind spots. Blind spots can hide a motorcyclist, a vehicle, or a bicyclist. Watch for things about to happen, like a ball rolling into the street or a vehicle door opening. Watch for hazards. Look beyond the vehicle ahead of you. Do not develop a fixed stare. Keep scanning. Check your rearview mirrors every 2 to 5 seconds so you know the position of vehicles near you. On the freeway, be ready for changes in traffic conditions. Watch for signals from other drivers. Expect merging vehicles at on-ramps and interchanges. Be prepared for rapid changes in road conditions and traffic flow. Know which lanes are clear so you can use them if necessary. Be careful of an inattentive or erratic driver. If you notice that a car near you is driving in a manner that is unsafe, make yourself aware of their situation and how it may affect you. Will they be able to see the red light? Will they weave into another lane? Consider what could happen if they did. Find the best course of action to take to avoid a potential hazard. Should you move to another lane? Should you decrease your speed? Know what to do to avoid conflict or collision. Since you are the alert driver, be ready to avoid the predicted errors that inattentive or erratic drivers may make. Be prepared to hit the brakes if needed, or step on the gas to get out of the way. Do not be a tailgater. Many drivers do not see as far ahead as they should because they follow too closely. Tailgate. And the vehicle ahead blocks their view. The more space you allow between your vehicle and the vehicle ahead, the more time you will have to see a hazard and stop or avoid that hazard. Most rear-end collisions are caused by tailgating. To avoid tailgating, use the 3-second rule. When the vehicle ahead of you passes a certain point, such as a sign, count 1001, 1002, 1003. This takes about 3 seconds. If you pass the same point before you finish counting, you are following too closely. If you follow too closely and another driver cuts in front of you, just take your foot off the gas. This gives you space between your vehicle and the other driver without having to slam on your brakes or swerve into another lane.
Know what is at your side. Anytime you come to a place where people may cross or enter your path or one line of traffic meets another, you should look to the left and right sides of your vehicle to make sure no one is coming. Always look to each side of your vehicle at intersections, crosswalks, and railroad crossings.
At intersections, look both ways even if other traffic has a red light or a stop sign. Look to the left first, since vehicles coming from the left are closer to you than vehicles coming from the right. Look to the right. Take one more look to the left in case there is a vehicle or a pedestrian you did not see the first time. Do not rely on traffic signals. Some drivers do not obey traffic signals, so before you enter an intersection, look left, right, and ahead for approaching traffic. To maintain a space cushion on each side of your vehicle, do not stay in another driver's blind spot. The other driver may not see your vehicle and could change lanes and hit you. Avoid driving directly alongside other vehicles on multi-lane streets with or without traffic in the opposite direction. Another driver might crowd your lane or change lanes without looking and crash into you. Drive either ahead of or behind the other vehicle. If possible and when safe, make room for vehicles entering freeways, even though you have the right of way. At freeway exits, do not drive alongside other cars. A driver may decide to exit suddenly or swerve back onto the freeway. Keep a space between yourself and parked cars. Someone may step out from between them. A vehicle door may open, or a vehicle may pull out suddenly. Be careful when driving near motorcyclists or bicyclists. Always leave plenty of room between your vehicle and any motorcyclists or bicyclists. Know what is behind you. It is very important to check behind you before you change lanes. Look over your shoulder to make sure you are not getting in the way of vehicles in the lane you want to enter. Reduce your speed. Take a quick glance in your mirrors. Also, check your mirrors when you are preparing to turn into a side road or driveway and when you are stopping to pull into a parking space. Drive down a long or steep hill. Watch for large vehicles because they can gather speed very quickly. Back up. Backing up is always dangerous because it is hard to see behind your vehicle. When you are backing out of a parking space, check in front and behind the vehicle before you get in. Know where your kids are. Make sure they are away from your vehicle and in full view before moving your vehicle. If other children are nearby, make sure you can see them before backing up. Do not depend only on your mirrors or only looking out a side window. Turn and look over your right and left shoulders before you begin backing. As a safety measure, also look over your right and left shoulders again while backing. Back slowly to avoid collisions. Check traffic behind you often to know if you are being tailgated. Another driver is following too closely. If you are being tailgated, be careful. Brake slowly before stopping. Tap your brakes lightly a few times to warn the tailgater you are slowing down. Lose the tailgater as soon as you can by changing lanes and allowing the tailgater to pass you, or slowing down to allow enough cushion between you and the car in front of you. If this does not work, pull off the road when it is safe and let the tailgater pass. Contributing factors that can cause collisions. There are many contributing factors that can cause collisions. We will discuss these in further detail later, but for now, here are some of the most common causes of collisions. Driving at unsafe speeds, driving on the wrong side of the road, making improper turns, violating the right-of-way rules, violating stop signals and signs. Types of accidents. Rear-end collisions are the most common. If aware, listen for screech of tires or horn and always look in your rearview mirror. Apply brakes and brace yourself. Plan to steer or avoid other traffic. Fixed object, less common, but very dangerous. The most significant cause of fatalities, serious injuries, and property damage is the two-car crash. Try to avoid frontal crashes, head-on. These are the most often fatal. Due to the physics involved in a sudden stop, the car could be sheared in two or wrapped around the object. Cars involved stop almost instantly, but the occupants are thrown forward at the speed they were going at collision, either into or through the windshield, or into the dashboard. It is quite common that one or both vehicles in a head-on collision will go into an uncontrolled spin and their occupants be thrown out of the vehicle. These are the possible results. 1. Run over by another vehicle. 2. Thrown into a curbing or other fixed object. 3. Having their own vehicle roll over or run over them. Accidents at intersections. 1/3 of all traffic accidents happen at intersections, and about 40% of all urban accidents occur there. Unless prohibited, there are only 4 maneuvers that a driver may do at an intersection: right, left, U-turn, continue straight through. There are 4 general rules for intersection safety. 1. Know your route. Plan ahead. 2. Slow for intersections and expect the unexpected. 3. Show your intention by position and signal. And 4. Go with care. Most drivers hit the brakes first to avoid an accident. Sometimes this locks the wheels, unless you have anti-lock brakes. The car begins skidding, making things worse. To stop quickly, apply firm, steady pressure on the brake. If the car begins to skid, release the brake. Step on the brake again, using firm, steady pressure. Repeat this process until the car stops. Note, anti-lock brakes must not be pumped. If you don't have time to stop or turn, run off the road if you have to, and if there is room. Running off the road is usually better than hitting another car. Try not to brake as you turn. This will help avoid being hit from the rear. Sometimes you can speed up to avoid an accident. This may work if a car is going to hit you on the side or rear. When you follow too closely and another driver cuts in front of you, the normal reaction is to slam on your brakes and swerve out of the way. Swerving out of the way most often results in cutting someone else off, or possibly driving off the roadway. It might also result in the car behind you crashing into you, or other cars around you. If another driver cuts in front of you, it would be better if you just take your foot off the gas. This will give you space between your car and the other driver without swerving into another lane. Don't overreact if you are cut off. Plan your emergency escape route before an emergency happens.
If you can't avoid a collision, protect yourself as well as you can. If you're going to be hit from the rear, be ready to brake so that you won't be pushed into another car. If you're going to be hit from the side, brace yourself with the steering wheel. Perhaps you can keep yourself from being thrown against the side of the car. If you're going to be hit from the front, use your arms and hands to protect your face if you are wearing a shoulder strap. This only applies if you do not have an active airbag. Otherwise, doing so could result in bodily injury to yourself, broken nose, arms. If you are not using a shoulder strap, throw yourself across the seat so that you don't hit the steering wheel column or the windshield.